Hi everyone. How to behave with the Chinese. When you are going to China, if you are working with China, if you are living in China, if you are going to a long trip, how to behave with them. My name is Yuval Bloomberg and I'm going to share with you my experience. I lived in Taiwan 1.5 years. I worked a lot with Chinese, with Taiwanese, traveled a lot to these two states. So I would like to share with you my experience. So first of all, Mianzi. What is Mianzi? Mianzi is like the cover of the face. This is something which is very important in the personal level. This is like your honor, your self-honor. Everything you have, it's like your Mianzi. You cannot allow yourself to lose it. And how you can lose it? You can lose it if someone humiliates you in front of your colleagues, in front of your family, in front of people you care about. So the worst thing to do is, if you are working with Chinese, is to tell someone in front of his managers, in front of his colleagues, that he's doing very bad job, he doesn't know how to do things, to show frustration towards him. You will cause him to lose his Mianzi. He will never forget it for you. So the way you have to do this is, if you have something to say, always hold yourself, ask yourself if this is the right way to say it. If you see a lot of, if you see important people around this guy, you don't want him to push him to the corner. You just phrase yourself in different way, talk politely, and make sure you are not humiliating in front of other people. I know it's not only for Chinese. I know it's not a nice thing to do, to humiliate people in front of other people. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about something which the threshold to it is lower. You have to be more aware about this, about the Mianzi of Chinese. Second is the Guanxi. Guanxi is the communication network you have, like all the people you know and the communication you have with them. This is a Guanxi. Guanxi is very important. It's I've seen once a movie in National Geographic. It was about business in Hong Kong. And this documentary movie showed that a lot of the business in Hong Kong started and based on family relationship. Even if this is big businesses or medium businesses, and I'm not talking just about small grocery in the street, but real businesses. So in China, those families are small, like with one kid. Most of the families. The family connection are very important. The connection with the people that close to you are very important. So Guanxi in this relation, it's like for you as a stranger. So it means how you are connecting with the Chinese. If you want to get something, if you are coming for a business meeting, if you are coming to travel with him for a long time, any engagement that you have, and I'm not talking about engagement in the airport, 1 minute you're asking someone a question. I'm talking about real engagement, long-term engagement. You must build first the Guanxi. You must build first the communication between you and how you are doing it. You are not doing it by showing him presentation. This is not the way you are building it. You are building it when you are going out together, you are talking, you are traveling together, you're drinking together, you get drunk together. This is the way for Chinese to build the trust with you, the communication with you. Based on this level, then you can move ahead and achieve much more from the same guy you are addressing. In the last 30 years, since I think even more than that, China went through tremendous change. Political, financial, cultural, everything. Now, you cannot compare the way Chinese are open to discussions 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and these days. I can tell you that Chinese today are much more, based on my experience, and I didn't discuss with 1 billion Chinese, but I felt the atmosphere, and the atmosphere was more released, like more free. It was like you can talk about politics, you can talk about your opinion about China, you can say things, but you cannot start discussion regarding the current regime in China, the one-party ruling. You cannot. No Chinese will cooperate with something like this because they don't want to put themselves in any risk, so they won't do that. But regarding general discussion about China, where China is going, what is the future of China, how is China in comparison with the US, this kind of discussion, Chinese will go to it. And I think the way, I mean, it's not that you met someone and the next discussion it's like about where China is going. I guess it's not the idea. But the idea is that if you're sitting, if you are drinking, you are eating, you have already some kind of relationship, yeah, they will talk with you. They are more open today. So you have to find, to use your common sense and to find the middle way. What is what can be discussed and what not. From my experience, discussion like about criticism about Taiwan, you don't want it. Most of the Chinese, everyone I talked with, they're all supporting the current policy of their country. You don't want to discuss any other too much sensitive topics which are too much sensitive. It won't be helpful and it won't promote you anywhere. So give up. But overall, there are many political discussions that can be done in China today. The law in China is not like in Western countries, but there is law, and there is a strong law, and China is being controlled in tighten way. I mean, you cannot do whatever you want. There are no black holes. You cannot smoke drugs, or if you will break the law, the Chinese law, you will get arrested. So I think in this way, it's like everywhere. The best is to go in the right way. Don't try to check the system. Don't try to check the patient. Don't try to break the law in any term. Just remember, this is a strong. The regime in China is strong. It has strong control on what's going on there, whether you see it or you don't see it. Don't assume the Chinese understand you. I mean, if you know him and you know that his English is perfect, okay, go ahead. But if you don't know him and if you speak English with him and you're explaining him stuff, do not assume that he understands you, even if he's doing like this with his head. There might be a few reasons why he's doing this. The first one, he doesn't want to humiliate you. He doesn't want to let you feel inconvenient. He doesn't want to make you feel not comfortable, that you are talking and no one understands what you're saying. Second, he doesn't want to lose his Mianzi. Remember the Mianzi, his face, he doesn't want to lose face in front of you because you are explaining him so nicely, nice stuff, and he doesn't understand you, so he doesn't want to be there. So usually he will do like this with the head, he or she, and they will let you understand or assume that they understood you. But I think the best way to do this is talk slowly. Do not assume that they understand you. Ask questions, verification questions. Maybe if it's relevant, ask to show you what is it about and what they understood. This is the way for you. This is a way for you to get a real impression if they understood you or not. Sex traps for tourists. If you go to the big cities, I'm talking about Shanghai, Beijing, maybe other cities. I guess it's common in other big cities, and in China you have a lot of big cities. But when I'm talking a big city, I'm talking mainly to this kind of cities where you can find a lot of tourists. You will see if you are walking in the evening time, there is I won't say 100%, but there is a decent chance that you will be approached by a nice lady, look very gentle, look very nice, with good English, and she will approach you and will start to talk with you and ask you, what are you doing here in China? Where are you going? Where are you sleeping? Blah, blah, blah. You think you find someone nice that you can talk with and wherever you are walking, but this is not the case. Once I've been with a friend it was in Shanghai. We walked like this, and suddenly a girl like this joined us. She was in the 20s somewhere, and she was walking near us. We were looking for a restaurant, and she suggested to help us. And as she's walking with us, we saw it was on one of the main streets. We saw a policeman And the policemen suddenly stopped her. They didn't let her to continue with us. We stopped. We didn't understand what's happened. We thought, oh, this is China. It's like they're stopping people on the street, the policemen. But actually, in this case, it was the opposite, completely the opposite. We understood this after that when we were talking with people we know, local people, and they explained us that she's like she intended to lead us, if she succeed, of course, to a massage place where they are taking you and you meet a gang, and when you meet the gang, it's already too late. They are blackmailing you, they are asking for your money, and if they are forcing you to pay by credit card or by any means that you have, and then they let you go. So the police just didn't let her go until we disappeared, and I guess I don't know what happened later. They didn't seem to take her, but they just stopped her and prevented her from keep walking with us. So just be aware of this and be careful. Confucius. I'm not going to give a lecture about Confucius, though I can do it. I'm just want to say something that it's very related to him. China left Confucius about 100 years ago, and China is returning to the tradition of Confucius. China established more than 500 Confucius institutions around the world. So one of the principles of Confucian is hierarchic society. What does it mean? It means Confucius said that you have 5 basic relationships between people, and which make these people, some of them senior and some of them junior. For example, man and woman, wife and her husband. The husband is senior and senior than the wife. Old friend, young friend. The old friend is superior on the young friend. Elder people always superior to the younger people. So if you are old, you'll get respect. If you have white hair, you will get automatic respect. I'm not saying that if you are young you will not get respect. I'm just saying that if you old, you have like bonus points, because it's like built in, it's like intuitive for them to give more respect to elder people. This is how it works in China, and it doesn't mean, by the way, that the women today are secondary to men, because the Chinese women are very, very strong and very dominant. But still, in some aspect, it can be more noticed the way the Chinese behave, and this is why I'm saying it's required you as well to give more respect to elder people. For example, if you are sitting in a meeting and you see 3 people in front of you, and you see one is older than the other, and you don't know anything, so just assume he's the senior one, unless you know differently. There is really much more to say. I tried to be short, but there is one more important thing I want to say. This is something which it's not related to the cultural aspect. Before the first time I came to Taiwan, I was instructed by Berlitz. I guess you heard about this language school. I got instructed by them about the culture of Taiwan. What do I have to do? I got a list of rules of what I can do and what I cannot do. One of the things, for example, was that I cannot caress the head of a small kid because it's considered like something that brings bad luck. A lot of other stuff like this. So a few months after I moved to Taiwan, I was talking with people there, with friends, Taiwanese friends, and I asked them, guys, tell me something. This is what I learned about you, and I just want to figure out if this is something real or this is like some kind of bullshit. And they were so amused by this. Really, it was like, I don't want to say it was all garbage, but it was a lot of bullshit there. One of the most important things you will find, it's just you have to be a normal person, you have to be a nice person, you have to be a good person, and in spite of all the barrier, of all the cultural barriers, if you are a good person, if you're a decent, if you are someone who speaks the truth, if you're someone that can be trusted, so everything else is really easy. It's not so significant. It's significant, but if you are not a good person, I mean, nothing will be helpful for you. I mean, even if you know exactly how to behave with the Chinese and exactly what to do, and you drink very good, but they will not appreciate you like any other person won't appreciate you. So eventually it's going down. So it's going down eventually to the very human behavior, a normal human behavior that must be the first thing, the first level, and upon this you have to continue with other things that can bring you better results. So don't forget this. I hope I managed to bring you value. If yes, like, follow, and just ring the bell below and make sure you are getting more of this content. Thank you very much. Bye bye.